Hello again, dear viewer, and welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory. Last time, we got our starter setup going. We got our initial setup with some concrete and some copper smelting. And between episodes, I did a little bit of a basic iron setup, just because I really needed those iron rods and iron plates so desperately. So, let me walk you through this real quick. We have a miner mark 1 on this iron node, which is pumping out 60 ore per second, and that is feeding evenly through this splitter into 2 furnaces, which each take 30 per minute, so that is exactly correct. 60 over 2 is 30. And then one of those smelters goes directly into this iron plate constructor, because this takes all 30 of its output. And then the other line gets split in half again, if I remember to put in the conveyor belt there, of course. And the remainder of the output gets used to make iron rods. And I have those both circulating right over down here to these nifty little storage chests, and there it's starting to accumulate. And speaking of accumulate, we've got plenty of concrete, nearly 300. So, we're going to put 100 of those into the research for now. And then I think I'm just going to slap together most of the screws. Let me see. So I'm making 30 rods per minute. And I don't have the iron plates to make a constructor. Alright, so if we whack down a constructor... how many does this take? 10. Okay. So we only need 1/3 of the output, but we don't really need that much. So let's take our splitter and split off this line. Gotta deconstruct this so we can get the inputs correct. And then let's just split this off into one constructor. And make screws with it. Let's connect that to the power line over here. And that's going to be making us 40 screws per minute, which isn't too much. But we're never really going to need a lot of screws all at once, at least not right now. So I'm content to just leave this one constructor running and getting us 40 screws per minute until we hit that 500 mark, wherein it will cap anyway. So if that is on standby, then we know we've got a stack of screws ready for us. And once this is all full up, and it isn't able to take any more iron rods, all 30 of the output will just go straight through into our chests. So we're not going to be losing any iron rods in this process. Unless it gets fully backed up, of course, but that's a separate issue. Alright, and then once we're done with that research, we can finally get rid of these stupid mushrooms in the middle of our factory floors, and all these trees over here, and even more mushrooms. Like, they've been really getting in the way of what I'm trying to build here, so I can go on a mass deforestation thing later, as soon as we're done with this research. While I'm waiting for those screws to cook, I expanded my power infrastructure a little bit. Now we're running at 190 megawatts total capacity of our 55 consumption. Both of the basic ones you're given here generate 20 megawatts of power each. So that was 40 megawatts initially, and so once we hit that 45-50 mark, we needed to upgrade our power system. So this here is a longer-term solution than just having a biomass burner every, like, once in a while. At one point I had a big old courtyard just full of biomass burners. It was a nightmare. So this is a much more nice and organized solution. And now we've rerouted all of our copper production off to this combo wire cable line. And that is all feeding into its own containers. And if we look over here, what do I see but a yellow lamp on this here constructor. And that means the screws are done. And that means double time. for the research.
Milestone reached. Biofuel will ensure maximum efficiency of biomass burners. To aid in biofuel production, you are now capable of removing foliage that consists primarily of wood. Additionally, R&D inflated your pocket dimension.
Alright. 5 more inventory slots. And the perceptive of you may have noticed this little contraption right here. But the constructor isn't set to anything. And that's because we just unlocked this solid biofuel, which takes 8 biomass to create 4 solid biofuel, which is worth much more energy than individual biomass. And if you look here, you will notice that the handcrafting for solid biofuel takes quite a long time. And I don't want to bother with that. So we create a little machine to squish all of our biomass into these nice little logs. And we don't bother with that. We just do the first step, because compressing it down from wood and leaves isn't that bad. And it's really annoying logistically to make a machine that can process all of them before you get certain technology that we will be getting later. So rather than having individual chests for all of the different things you can turn into biomass, I just turn it into biomass by hand, and then I throw it all in a chest, and the machine makes the rest. And it's very nice. It's a very nice solution for solid biofuel crafting. So we're going with that. And it means all this leftover biofuel can also go into the big dumb chest over here. And as we can see right here, that turns into solid biofuel, which is stockpiling in this chest here. And it's right next to our iron plates and rods. And that's also right next to our copper stuff, which I guess I can make little displays for right here. Alright, and now if we go into our production tab and build an equipment workshop, I think this is for the first time. You can see the chainsaw is now part of our recipe bank, and that needs quite a lot of screws and a few reinforced iron plates. But that's not going to be too bad with our current production rate, so I will get those real quick. Alright, we got all those parts, so bing, bang, boom, it's a chainsaw, baby. And we've already got a little bit of solid biofuel in the tank, so this will be nice. Yeah, there goes all the trees. Get all this foliage out of my machinery. Oh, spooky cave, huh? Well, I've seen spookier. I wonder what's down here. Enemies? Enemies. Spider. Oh, okay. Alien organs? Ah, another enemy. Alien organs. Okay. Ah, a Sommer's loop. Well, these don't have any particular use right now, but I bet they're gonna have use in the near future. Update 4 is going to be coming out within the next couple months, supposedly. Or no, I think it was early 2021? I'm not sure. But either way, I'm going to continue chopping down all of this stuff, get that nice mycelia. It's a very essential resource that is kind of hard to come by in the early game, especially if you take the standard sort of beginner starting area. You're going to have to go a long way to find a good source of mycelium. But chopping down these little mushrooms is a very nice source for now. And God, look at how much biomass we've been collecting. Smashing that all down into biomass paste is going to be nice. I've got so much biomass now, it can't even store all of it. Guess I'll have to put another storage container here. So just flip that around, take a conveyor lift, shoot, put that in there, and it all gets funneled down into the other chest. So now I just have to load that one instead of this one, which is a bit annoying, but whatever. Alright, so what's next? Well, now that we have screws and wire and cable and all of that automated, the sky's kind of the limit. We've got most of the tier 1 and 2 unlocks available to us. I think I will want to pick up this field research real quick now that we've got the obstacle clearing out of the way, just to get tier 1 over with. And then I'm going to pick up all of this other stuff. So I'm going to go do that real quick. Bam, 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 bam. And that research got us a second hand slot, so now we can use our chainsaw with our other hand. And keep both of those on hand for when we need them. I almost forgot that field research also unlocks the MAM, which is going to be our research machine for the rest of the game. So we've got a couple things we can feed this, actually. So let's throw some of that stuff in here. So let's just take all of these for now. Let's throw the alien organs in. Get that all researched, and that can turn into biomass once we get enough of them. Let's throw the flower petals in here.
New research
and that
available
unlocks
in MAM.
access to research the color gun, which we will get eventually. Let's throw some of this mycelia in here and get that research. That'll be really important. That'll get us fabric eventually and all that. Pale berry. Let's get one of those researched. Let's get the bacon and Garrick
New
researched.
object added to the object scanner.
And let's research the power slug as well, which will get us access to overclocking, and importantly as well, underclocking. So that can be our last thing we get for now. But let's throw this sulfur that we got last episode in here as well. Get that researched, and we can work towards black powder once we get the
New
ability to scan
resource
for gold,
added to the resource scanner.
which is neat. And now in 5 minutes we will have the ability to overclock our buildings. So that's all sick. And we are still waiting on our screws to cook, I believe. Yep, it is still cooking over there. So I will still need a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Okay, so now we have all of the basic research done, the base building and all that, and then all the way up to our current goal is Logistics Mark II to get those better conveyor belts. These conveyor belt Mark IIs can transport 120 resources per minute, which is twice what our current ones can. But in order to do that, we're going to need quite a few reinforced iron plates, which are made out of normal iron plates and a bunch of screws. And in order to do that, we're going to need to build an assembler for the first time. But in order to do that, we need rotors. So, it's a bit of a process. What I think I'm going to do is, because we use the reinforced plates for our upcoming conveyor belts, I think it is pertinent of us to get those up and running first before rotors. And then we can use the extra throughput of the belt to do rotors a little easier, because I know from experience that there's some funky math involved in rotors that I will have to get into in a little bit here. But either way, the important thing is that we're going to be building a reinforced iron plate thing first, so let's get to it. Alright, got those all handcrafted, so let's see what we need from our assembler to make our reinforced iron plates. Looks like we're going to need 30 iron plates and 60 screws per minute. So what do we have on our things here? 40 screws per constructor here on iron rods. And then on iron plates, we have 30 in to 20 out. So we need 1.5 constructors for plates. And how many did we need again for the 60? And 1.5 for rods. So if we make two assemblers, then we will need 120 screws per minute, which we can do after we get our belts upgraded, and 60 iron plates, which we can do right now. We would need 3 iron plate. Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, see, so this is where the logistics get a little more complicated. Because now, the deal is, let's chain down the entire production line here. So we need to go from raw iron ore, and that we can get 120 per minute out of this, so we should assume we do. So 120 iron ingots. So in order to fuel one assembler, we need 30 plates and 60 screws. So we make 3 plate assemblers, right, to make 60. And then we can split that plate assembler into half, and fuel 2 constructors with that. And then how much will we need for screws? We need 120. So we also need 3. Okay. So we need 3 of each constructor, which means we need 30... Oh. We need 30 rods. And these each output 15, so that's exactly 30. That's enough. And then we need... Oh my god. Okay, I think we have enough to do all of this. I just need to, like, plan it out in my head and actually write some stuff down instead of just kind of mathing it out. So, that's gonna be a bit of a challenge. Alright, so we're running out of space over here, and I've got the hub and everything, so I think I'm just gonna expand out this way here just a little bit to accommodate sort of our new style of iron production line. You know, there's a sort of zen to cutting down an entire forest in this game. I'll just go to find myself like a new little area to settle, and it's like, all right, let's deforest this area so I can find my way back a little easier. And I just keep going. I just deforest for like an hour. It takes forever. It's great. But like just the and then the whole thing falls over. Oh, it's so nice. All right, so we got we're still using this setup for now, but you can see here there's a split point where we can connect to our new system here. None of this is powered or anything. I don't think I even set all these to iron yet. But we've got our iron ore coming down this way, and it splits into these 4 smelters, which each produce 30. So the trouble is, our belts can only take 60. Transports up to 60 resources per minute, you can see on the right side here. So, because we only need 30 iron ingots for all of our rods, we have 1 smelter dedicated to that, so that's no problem. But you can see over here, we can only merge 2 of these together, because they only take 30, or they each make 30, rather, and our belts can only take 60. So, when we merge the 2 30 lines together, it'll try to push 60 items per minute through this merger, and it would be fine. But if we added the 3rd smelter here, that would try to push 90 items per minute through this merger onto a belt that can only take 60, and that would mean we would be bottlenecking resources in there, and the whole rest of our production line from here would get messed up. So this looks a lot cheatier than it actually is. Once I unlock Logistics Mark II, I can make this look not like trash, but I have it just here so that one of these 30 lines goes above the other line. And I just realized I don't have stackable conveyor poles, so I'll have to do the top line first. That is a unique challenge for this part of the game. I dig it. Okay, well, I will try and figure that out. Alright, and we have hooking it up. So, let's head down the production line here. As we've mentioned before, this all gets split evenly into 4 smelters, which I just now realized we don't have the belt capacity for because we don't have tier 2 belts, but that is future me's problem. Gotta replace all those belts with tier 2. But at that point, we've also got to rip out all this stuff. So maybe I shouldn't have put the cart before the horse, as it were. But either way, we've got 2 of these smelters, well, 3 of them, actually. One of them is just independently pumping its line into its own constructor, but these 2 are sharing constructors. Because this merge and split is neat, and it saves us a little bit of space. You can see here we couldn't have fit this constructor here if we had this whole other line. And it wouldn't have been nice and in line, so we could merge them all into one line. And so because each of these creates 20 plates, it's an even 60. Goes right in here and gets split as the first half of our recipe in this assembler here, the 30 iron plates per minute. So that's not too bad. And we mentioned before that there was a set smelter just for iron rods. And alas, here it is. It will be creating 30 total iron rods per minute. Those get merged onto the same line and split evenly into 3 lines of 10, which perfectly feed our screw constructors here. And then there's a cheeky little split here because each of these creates 40. What's 40 times 1.5? That's right, friends, it's 60. And that is the exact capacity of our belts. So if we split this in half and merge it onto the other 2 lines evenly, then that creates exactly 60 exactly 60 screws per line. And lo and behold, that's exactly as many as each of these reinforced iron plate constructors needs. So as soon as we get the line up here at the front upgraded to 120, and perhaps clean up some of the belt work here and there as a result of the new capacity of our line, we will get iron plates going at a rate of a blistering, mind-boggling 10 per minute. It's so incredible. I bet you were expecting a little more. But, you know, the more refined an ingredient gets, the harder it is to create quickly. So, sorry for the Discord notification there. It's quite unprofessional. I suppose I should, oh my god, and looky here. What is this making? Oh, right, the screws. Okay. Don't even remember what half my stuff is making. Either way. Storage container. And let's get these merged up. So, I usually like it to be in the center of the foundation, but because we're going to be snaking it across over here, this one will be on the center of the foundation. Not too worried. So let's funnel all of those directly into our fancy new storage container. And eventually, hey, there's one. We'll get a bunch of reinforced iron plates. And once we get 50 of those, we'll throw them all into the hub. And we'll get our logistics figured out. We'll have the rest of the stuff easy by then. I did just realize this is the entire iron node. Oh. Well, actually, that's not even an issue. Because, like, look at all these. You got, like, 2 over there. I think there's another one I saw? Whatever. And then there's at least 1 more over there. So we've got iron for days. This'll be fine. Let's see, I could probably make modular frames here. Like, the final destination for this area may end up modular frames. We have a lot of limestone here, too. Coal is not nearby. Perhaps heavy modular frames in the future, but we'll see. That's definitely far future plans. Now time for a very important boop, 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 boop. A boop. And I would be very
Milestone
excited.
reached. Improved versions of conveyor belts and conveyor lifts are now
it's literally
accessible.
the
To
50th
encourage additional
reinforced plate.
verticality, conveyor
So I've gotta
poles
wait
now have a
more.
stackable...
Okay, so I'm here with the biomass machine that we've had for, like, the whole time now. And this entire time it's only been working at half capacity because it needs 120 per minute. So this is a great demonstration of these Mark II belts that we just got, these new fancy belts. So now we're making our full 60 solid biofuel per minute, and I'll probably need some more chests to store it all in. So that's great. I've done a little bit of deforestation around here, just sort of getting this sort of area shaved out. A little more up on the hill here as well, and I'm just swimming in biomass. So having the extra biomass production will be useful. And let's see, we've got 24 reinforced plates left, so let's see how much of this belt we can upgrade. Looks like all the way up to the first furnace. That is an improvement, for sure. In fact, it's all we need, right? No. Yes? No. No. Yeah, we still need throughput one further, because right now, this is feeding the exact amount it needs. In fact, we actually want to downgrade this to Mark 1 and upgrade this to Mark 2, because these only need 30 per minute. So actually, so this is using 30, and this is using 30. So that means we only have 60 left when it's coming out of here, once these fill up. So this is actually perfect. We had the exact amount of iron plates we needed, which is always great. You know, looking out on the very first reinforced plate factory I've made for the series here, I'm just remembering back when I did this exact same thing for my very first reinforced plate factory when I got the game. It's just so satisfying to see all the things moving in at just the perfect rates. I've tuned all the belt speeds so that exactly 60 screws are going on each of these 60 belts, and you know, it's very... This is why you play the game, folks, you know? Alright, well, guess it's time to start on some rotor production. Unfortunately, we used 100% of this iron node back here to make all of our reinforced iron plates, but that's fine, because we have loads of iron around here. There's one right there that I've already got a miner on. 2 more over there, and then like that whole bit over there, and then I think some more nearby as well. Oh, a little further out, but yeah. So let's get started on some of that.
Actually, dear viewer, this is Chris from the future in the editing room, and I'm realizing that this episode is a lot longer than I expected, so we're going to end it here. But don't despair, next week there will be another episode ready and waiting for you, wherein we finish up the smart plating production line and launch our way into coal power. But before all of that, I have to apologize. I'm going to have a couple small audio issues in this episode, I'm sure you've noticed already, wherein my voice sounds a little robotic, a little synthetic. That is as a result of inconsistent volumes in my recording, and I'm needing to normalize it in the audio software, and it's causing a little bit of that robotic quality. So please bear with me as I change my recording setup to get some more consistent volume in, and hopefully not have as many of these weird artifacts. But either way, if my gameplay and or commentary improved your day even just that nice little bit, I would very much appreciate if you use the avenues YouTube has given you, those would be the like, comment, and subscribe buttons if you were curious, to tell me that I'm doing a good job. It's very nice for me to hear. Make sure to give your pets a lot of extra love for me today, and I will see you next time.